Okay, folks, so we gotta talk violently about the top 4 up-and-coming hot cryptocurrencies that you're gonna want to know about before 2022. All ones that are also priced at under $10 a unit. Now, full context, my long-term high-conviction list for cryptos are Bitcoin, Ethereum, and ADA. And quite simply, I believe that folks should buy and hodl the big boys before getting into the other ones. But by the same token, no pun intended, those are very, very similar to investing in, say, an Apple, an Amazon, or a Tesla. Sure, you're getting something that's probably going to do very, very well over the long term, but at the same time, you're not going to see 1,000% year-over-year returns. At least not anymore. On the flip side though, earlier stage cryptocurrency projects certainly can provide those numbers, but they're also a lot riskier and it's hard to pick them correctly. The thing is though that you can afford to be wrong if you play the game correctly. For example, let's just say that you have $25,000 that you want to invest right now into up and coming coins. Well, you invest that equally into 10 coins that you did your due diligence on and believe strongly will go up in the next year. Let's say that you're wrong on the first 9 and they drop literally 99% after your purchase price, and then you hit just one winner out of the 10. That runs up about 2,500%. In effect, you picked 9 losers and 1 winner. What happened? Well, the people on Reddit would say you're a moron and you're a bag holder and you're an idiot and you should just leave cryptocurrencies and go invest in minerals. But in total, you turned 25K into 65K. And you were still wrong on 90% of your picks. Now, obviously, the next question is, well, how often do coins run up 2,500%, Charlie? Well, if you look at the top 100 cryptos by market cap right now, many of them got there in the last year by doing similar runs. And we still are in the very, very early stages of crypto market development. Let me show you a little bit less of an extreme scenario. You use that same 25K, you put it into 10 coins, first 5 lose varying degrees of money, the 6th stays flat, and then the last 4 win solidly. 50% up, 100% up, 250% up, and 500% up. You're wrong on more than half, but you still had a total of a 67% return. I don't know how it's going to stack up for you, but if you find a list of high conviction plays that you like, and they're up and comers, you can diversify away that risk and still get and reap a lot of the benefits. If you're playing a probability game, the probability of you catching one massive runner is a lot better if you take 10 chances than if you just take 1. But most people, what I see is they'll take one big hot up and comer, usually at new highs, and they'll YOLO everything into it, and then if it doesn't work out, they'll say it was rigged. Instead, you could work to rig the probabilities in your own favor by taking strategic risk and looking at a broader picture. And you can improve your probabilities a lot more by specifically making sure to buy in strategically at dips and trim at euphoria highs. So with that in mind, I want to talk about the top 4 hot up-and-coming crypto projects that you need to know about right now before we head into 2022. Do your own due diligence on these, but these are my thoughts. And the only thing that I ask before we get into it is that you hit that ravishing like button, and also don't forget to subscribe either. Also, quick plug, this video is sponsored by our Black Friday 100 sale on ZipTrader U. Lock in lifetime access to our step-by-step lessons, our private chat, our daily morning briefings, as well as our price targets. If you are interested in joining us, make sure to check it out before the sale ends. Black Friday 100 coupon code, link below. We did brief on LGVN again this morning, which we'll have to talk about in the next stock related video. This one has had yet another day of exceeding my expectations. I thought this morning that it would hit our bull criteria because of sentiment mentions, but I didn't realize it would do another 2x plus, but I'm not complaining either. If you do join the team, make sure to check in 30 minutes prior to market open on Friday when the market reopens after Thanksgiving, and we'll have an update on it. Okay, let's go ahead and start with Mana. So Mana has been one of the hottest coins as of late because of the metaverse trend. Mana is sitting at $5.22 with a market cap just under 10 billion and a circulating supply of 1.8 billion Mana. Typical holding time so far is about 14 days. Now, essentially, Mana is the currency of Decentraland, which is a virtual world owned by its users and hosted on the Ethereum blockchain. You use Mana in the Decentraland world to buy digital assets, such as land, services, or other sorts of digital goods. The idea of Decentraland is that more people are spending time in virtual worlds, and that's only going to increase as Facebook pushes into creating a broader metaverse that's more augmented in our day-to-day life. But the idea of Decentraland is that instead of living in a Zuck-controlled central authority meta Facebook world, Decentraland is controlled and owned by its users, and thus is decentralized. hence the phrase Decentraland. Obviously, one could guess that when this metaverse thing starts really going, a lot of corporations, big tech most likely, are going to want to get in it. And guess what? We don't need any more big tech control in our life. So what Decentraland is saying is, hey, we can go ahead and bring the power to the people. The system allows for developing and creating more digital creations within the world, and thus the more people that join, the more value that is in theory created. And if it turns into a later stage metaverse, the in-world purchases would be very, very useful, and the digital economy that they are developing could be theoretically insanely lucrative for a lot of people involved. In terms of utility, the protocol allows for tracking land ownership and content, downloading assets using a decentralized distribution system, and enabling users around the world to connect with each other. And I'll be honest with you, I look at these pictures of land in gameplay, and in the back of my head, I'm thinking, why the hell are people buying this junk? But when you see Market Insider reporting that a plot of digital land in Decentraland was just sold for $2.43 million, it's like, well, metaverse investors are coming with big bucks and they see value in these early stage gameplay type metaverses. And when investor money is flowing in and driving demand, it's hard to ignore. Money talks. You start thinking that, hey, wait a second, this technology that we're seeing in these games could eventually evolve into a much, much, much more developed metaverse. But because we are so early stage, what you are really banking on here is whether this is going to be able to retain enough buyers and really enough players to stay relevant. But right now, Decentraland and thus its native currency, Mana, are really the leaders in metaverse game and metaverse coin. Now 23rd on the list of highest market cap coins, trends of search interest are just starting to go up, and it's becoming less and less whale concentrated over time. If you're looking for a hot crypto that's going to run in 2022 and has a lot of catalysts to look forward to, I would say Mana is one of the biggest. We are likely going to be bombarded with headlines and coverage of companies who are investing lots of money into developing a metaverse exposure plan. With Facebook leading the way, I expect a lot of other major tech companies to follow suit. And many of them already have, they just haven't been as loud about it. The more companies invest in building out a metaverse, the more the demand for a decentralized metaverse will increase, and the more speculator capital will go into metaverse stocks, or rather cryptos, like Mana. Another metaverse play is Sand, trading at $7.47, market cap at just under $7 billion, circulating supply at 892 million Sand. Similar to Mana's relation to Decentraland, Sandbox is a virtual world where players can build and exchange their own digital assets and creations, monetize gaming experiences, all of course on the Ethereum blockchain using the Sand token. The creators say their tech solves a big issue. Quote, in the current game market, the centralized ownership and control of user-generated content limits creator rights and ownership. Central control over the trading of virtual goods created by players restricts them from generating fair value for their creations. Compounding this, it can be difficult to prove creative ownership of works, especially as content is copied, altered, and built upon. With the Sandbox, we aim to overcome these limitations while accelerating blockchain adoption to grow the blockchain gaming market. And with blockchain, creators can actually enjoy copyright for their digital assets without having to go to a central authority, and they can much more simply exchange the digital assets that they own because they can just exchange the token. Cut out the middleman and you empower the people who are creating and exchanging. Right now, obviously the metaverse is more game oriented, but in the long run, digital assets and all of these types of things are going to be very, very relevant, and thus this technology is going to be very, very relevant in a broader, more mainstream, not just game-related metaverse sense. The way that Sandbox works in effect is that players spend sand in order to play games and acquire assets and land. The more sand you have, the more voting rights you have to change the way the system works. If you stake your sand, you can get rewarded with more sand. 40 million players have downloaded the Sandbox franchise, and the idea is that over time, they'll be able to attract a lot more users and get the numbers up. For example, partnerships with potentially Adidas could add a lot of attention to the coin. Their white papers also say that in 2022, they're going to have what? Partnerships. What does that mean? That means a lot more catalysts. But a big reason that it's running right now and why it's relevant is because on the 29th, the Sandbox Alpha starts, where players will have the opportunity to experience the Sandbox metaverse for the first time, which gives a big catalyst an opportunity to show some proof of concept and a lot of increased media coverage for spreading awareness. Okay, next, Polygon, ticker Matic. She's been a bit of a sleeper recently, but she's trading at 168, circulating supply at 7 billion, and typical holding time of 70 days. Essentially, her goal is to allow blockchain application developers to develop on the Ethereum network without dealing with many of the traditional problems of doing so. They claim to be more scalable, more secure, more sovereign, have better interoperability, and more intuitive user and developer experiences than the alternatives. One of the problems with Ethereum is that the gas fees when developing on that network are too damn high. One of the biggest benefits of using Polygon is it dramatically reduces those gas fees. It's like the difference of paying California gas prices or sucking it right off the hose in Saudi Arabia. Currently, there's a proposal being voted on to deploy Uniswap v3 to the Polygon chain, which could not just help reduce Uniswap's gas fees dramatically, but also show a lot more proof of concept for Polygon and give it a catalyst. Polygon may not have as big of a cult following as other cryptos, but arguably she has some of the most present-day utility. She also tends to run up very similar to bigger crypto assets, especially Ethereum, and the next crypto bull run is going to be very, very, very fun for dear old Poly. One thing to understand is that when Ethereum goes up massively, again, gas fees on the Ethereum network go up massively, and thus that creates a huge flow of demand for cheaper chains like Polygon. And lastly, we got number 4. I want to revisit Cryptocom coin. We made a video breakdown of this one on Monday, and it has continued its bull trend, but you consider that this is an exchange coin and how much value can rotate into exchange coins if they can build a strong user base. Well, then this seems to be a very, very big player in 2022. Remember, the third largest coin by market cap is Binance coin, and that's because they are the biggest exchange. It's the native coin of Binance. Right now, Crypto.com is in the beginning stages of dumping tons of money on marketing, and a lot of that marketing is going to pay off in the upcoming year. The more people that go to Crypto.com, the more people that are going to add utility to Crow, and the more people are going to speculate that Crow's going to be a big winner. And in the crypto space, that's what breeds staying power and long-term value. And when it comes to an actual exchange, there's actual utility there. So it's not just that meme style momentum. Although it is also that meme style momentum. Crypto.com is spending oodles of money to promote themselves, and it's already paying off, but it's going to pay off in actual utility in 2022, and I think a lot more hype. Okay, now a few elephants in the room, a few elefantes. We're in a crypto market that's very close to all-time highs, and a lot of these assets are mid-hype cycle. And let's be real, if you want to increase your odds of picking more winners and having less losers, it's best to not buy up all-time highs, but rather wait for dips. And it's best to have a cycle of buying during dysphoria and selling during euphoria, or at least trimming. But I think that overall, I would keep all 4 of these violently on your radar. Because in 2022, I think the probability says that these are all going to do very, very well, especially during crypto bull runs. Right now, you're in the situation where you don't have big running from the big players, Bitcoin and Ethereum, so Poly isn't doing much, so she's probably going to be the first to wake up, and right now you have a lot of hype around those metaverse coins, and they're probably going to go to sleep within the next couple of weeks, maybe towards the beginning of the year. But if you're very, very strategic, I bet that by this time next year, you're going to see a lot of value in playing these. And remember, there's really only 3 different factors here. Number 1, the quality of your due diligence. Number 2, the market cycle, whether you're in a crypto winter or a crypto summer. And lastly, I hit myself. And lastly, number 3, the risk management, how you're able to diversify out your risk, how well you're able to use your 10 chances or 5 chances or 20 chances, however many you decide to take in terms of diversification. And overall, my suggestion would just to be focused on what you can control and don't worry about what you can't. And at the end of the day, make sure that you understand that up and coming coins are very speculative. I recommend having some of the big dogs in your portfolio first. Your Ethereum, your Bitcoin, your SHIB. Just kidding, you could have SHIB as a spec coin, but I recommend Bitcoin, Ethereum, and ADA. Not a financial advisor, not financial advice. Not medical advice, not legal advice, not life advice, but Charlie's opinion. Anyways, that caps off the video. Happy Thanksgiving, folks. If you have any questions, make sure to comment below or join us on ZipTrader Circle. If you'd like to get in ZipTrader U before the Black Friday sale ends, make sure to type in coupon code BLACKFRIDAY100 before checkout. I'll put the link below. Have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video.